Welcome to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So today I am doing an eye look and all of my face is completely done. I am currently testing out the Sephora Dior Skin Air Flash and the Sephora Airbrush Foundation. That's what's on my face today. So in this video, we're just gonna be focusing on the eyes, and what I used for today's video is the Huda Beauty Textured Shadow Palette. Now, I do like the way that the look ended up turning out. I do think it looks very, very pretty, very glam. However, I think that these shadows were a little bit harder to work with than I would have liked. I think that the mattes were a little bit harder to blend. I did not like the way that the textured eyeshadows applied on my lid. They look okay now, but upon first application, my eyelids looked old and crusty, you guys. It was not a good look. And I did apply with my finger like it is recommended. I think that now that the look is completely done and the eyes are completely done, I do think it's really beautiful. I do think that the shadows are absolutely stunning. But I just think that for 65 bucks, I just think that it just didn't perform the way that I would have liked it to. Now, will I return it? Probably not, because I do like the shades in here, and I do think that you can get a really beautiful looks out of this eyeshadow palette. I focused a lot on the pinks and this flamingo shade right here, which is like a brighter pink, and I did go in with that shade today, which is something that I normally would never do, but that's what's accented. I kind of have that all up in my crease today. So I think that they're beautiful eyeshadow colors, you guys, but I think that they are a little bit harder to work with. I think that the Natasha Denona palette does have some similar colors in here, and even though I wasn't a fan of her a couple of her shimmer shadows as well, I think that overall the quality of that palette is a little bit better than this one. I know that this palette is, I think, currently sold out on Sephora's website. I'm not sure if it's going to be coming back in stock, but I definitely told you guys that I was going to start doing a lot more makeup tutorials, especially while I'm out for school. I really want to start focusing on makeup tutorials and getting those out for you, because I haven't really done that a lot recently on my channel. So I did create this eye look. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I got this look, you are going to want to keep on watching. But before we get into that video, you guys, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you do enjoy makeup tutorials and if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Just become part of my little family. And if you are not new to my channel, you guys, welcome back. Thank you for continuing to join and support me here on my channel. And yeah, guys, let's just go ahead and get into this makeup look. All right, guys, so to start, we're gonna take the shade Shy, which is like a light dusty pinky shade, and I'm gonna take that with my Sigma E40, and I'm basically just gonna work that into my crease, into my outer corner, and slightly above the crease. Now, you guys, I will admit that these shades were a little difficult to work with, and I did have to really blend the colors a lot, and I did notice that there was a little bit of patchiness happening, so I had to go in with several different brushes just to kind of get a really smooth application with this color. Same thing with the next shade. I'm going in with the color Flamingo, but this time I am taking my Sephora Pro Crease Brush number 10. You guys know that I love it. I'm going in a little bit heavier handed with this color just to kind of build it up into the crease a little bit more. So Shy was more of my transition shade, whereas Flamingo is just going to be like a little hint of pink that once all of the darker shades have been placed on my eye, you'll kind of see it really nicely. Just like a little flush of color. And again, I had the same issue with Flamingo that I did with Shy. They were just a little bit harder to blend out for me, you guys. But I mean, after a while, I was able to get a nice, nice blended look. So now I'm taking the shade Maneater, and I am taking that on my MAC 221 brush, and this color I had a little bit of an easier time blending out than the other two colors, but it still was a little bit more of a challenge. This color, I just really wanted to intensify the outer corner of my eye, so I'm just kind of, at first I was originally going to do like a cut crease look, and then that's what I was going for, but then in the end I decided not to do that. So I just really wanted to have a lot of like depth in the outer V, and then I'll slightly eventually start to kind of sweep that color all the way into my inner corner. So right here, you guys, I basically just went back in with a little bit of Shy and the Sephora Pro Crease number 10, just to kind of help blend out that darker shade a little bit more. I was noticing that it was starting to look just a little bit patchy, so I just really wanted to smooth that color out. And now you can see me going in with a different brush, you guys. Like I mentioned earlier, I did go back and forth between a lot of brushes just to kind of get a very smooth, even layer of pigment on my eye with these particular shadows. That you see me working with now is the shade Bossy, and I am using my MAC 217. I just want it to give a little bit more depth and dimension to the outer corner of the eye. And one thing I've noticed, you guys, and it's weird because you wouldn't think it would be that way, but the more colors you use and the more layering you do, the more blended your eyes look and the more depth that you get, the more dimension that you get. I used to think like less was more, but no, that is not the case. Now this is where things get a little bit funny. So I went in with Trust Fund on my finger, and it just did not sit on my eye correctly. So I patted it in with my finger, and I was looking in the mirror and I was like, no, this is not working for me. So then I decided to pick up Angelic to just to kind of try to like smooth it out and make it look a little bit better, and that helped a little bit. But I still didn't love the way that the lid color was looking on my eye at first. And then I'm just going back in with the previous colors that I had used and just kind of blending everything together, intensifying things, darkening them up where I want to. And then there I just took my MAC 217 and a mixture of Bossy and Maneater and just kind of intensified the outer V just a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm bringing it in lightly from inner to outer corner, but I'm placing the most of the pigment on the outer V, and then once there's less product on my brush, I do sweep it into the inner corner. Alright guys, so I'm taking the shade Bossy, and I am going to blend out the shade Cocoa that I had previously applied on my lower lash line, and I'm using the Morphe E36. It's kind of like a pencil brush to blend that out. And I had already applied the shade Cocoa, but unfortunately I was a little out of frame for that, but that's what you guys see me doing right now. Then I'm going in with Flamingo on a MAC, I believe that's a MAC 239 that I'm using, and I am blending the shades out even further. I'm basically taking all of the shades that I had placed on my upper lid and I'm kind of blending it down onto my lower lid just to kind of match everything that I applied on top. And then I decided that I needed a little bit more of Bossy just to kind of deepen it up so that way I wouldn't look like sickly having too much pink and too much like maroon tones on my lower lash line. So I'm kind of just taking a Sephora, I believe that's a Sephora Pro Shader, the number 18, and I'm just adding a little bit more of a darker shade just to kind of ground the look a little bit more. And then I am taking these shades Angelic and Moon Dust, and I am using those to highlight my inner corner. And that is a Morphe, what brush is that? The Morphe G19, and then I'm just taking a little bit of the Benefit Roller Lash. Now we're going in with the House of Lashes in Seductress. All right, guys, and that is it. That is the completed look using the Huda Beauty Textured Eyeshadow Palette Rose Gold Edition. So I do love the way that the look came out. I do love the eyeshadows in this palette, or as far as the shades are concerned, I think they're gorgeous. I do think that they are a little bit difficult to work with, you guys. I think that it's the only time, this is the first time that I have used this palette, swatched this palette, touched this palette really, so I feel like maybe I'm a little bit, you know, I'm not going to count it out just yet. I definitely do need to play with it a little bit more. I definitely do need to see, you know, different techniques, different ways to use the palette. I did go in with my fingers like it's recommended for the more textured eyeshadows, and that just had my eyelids looking like super old and super crusty, but they ended up smoothing out, I guess, with a little bit of time. So now it looks smooth, but when I first applied it, y'all, ooh, I was I was concerned. So even though I like the finished look, I do think it was a little bit more difficult to achieve this look. Do I think that this palette is worth it at this particular moment in time? No. But again, I do think that it is a very beautiful look. I do think that they have very beautiful shades in this palette. I don't regret buying it. I don't regret trying it. It is very, 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 very heavy on mixed reviews right now. So a lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. And I've noticed that there's not really a whole lot of in between when it comes to this palette. But that is just a quick little rundown for me. Right now I'm kind of indifferent because I need to try a little bit more and play with it. But right now, if I had to just go off of my first impressions, I don't like this palette at all. As far as how it applies, the mattes were a little bit harder to blend, a little bit harder to work with. And those textured shadows, even though beautiful in color, and even though after they kind of, I guess it just requires a little bit of settling to get them to kind of look nice on the eye. I just think that for $65, I'm not all the way here for it, at least at this moment. If you did enjoy this video, you guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you have not already. And yeah, guys, if you want to see more makeup tutorials, just let me know what you might be interested in next. You guys know that I did pick up a lot of products during the Sephora VIB sales that I really want to start getting tutorials out for you guys. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.